Hi, welcome to another episode of FaceTime with Lalari. Today we're going to talk about the lessons or the things that I learned from quitting my job in my 20s. And the reason why I thought about this is because this is the second time I record this. The first take, I was talking about the time when I quit my job, and that got me thinking, right? What is it that I learned? Like, what happened? What happened during that time? And it's been 10 years since that happened. That happened in 2015. And just to give you a quick story, I was working in IT sales. I was working for a reseller, and I decided to quit my job to become a photographer. And I did on a whim. I thought I had enough money saved, but I didn't. And that was one of the lessons. That brings me to the first lesson, is have money saved. I quit my job and I probably had a couple months saved. Maybe, from what I remember, it wasn't a lot. And I made really very stupid decisions. I had money saved, and then I had money in my 401k, but I don't think I started dipping into that until later. Don't dip into your 401k because you will pay the fees that come up to be basically the same. Well, at that time, I ended up paying fees for taking it out early, and it ended up being the same amount that I had taken out. So I wouldn't do that. And then this led me to becoming roommates with one of my friends who, not to get too much into it didn't become a good situation for me and my mental health. So anyway, the lesson was have money saved, and have money saved for a specific amount of time, right? Like maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year. And based on that time that you have, I would work my timeline for by when do I need to start making money, but by when do I absolutely need to start making money. So that takes me to the next point, is have it all written in a Post-it, having a plan of execution, right? And what I mean by that is that when I quit my job, I just quit it on a whim. And it was a good paying job. I was making a lot of money for a 24-year-old. Was I 24? I don't think I was 24. Damn, how old am I? Anyway, for a mid 20-year-old, I was making a lot of money living in Austin. And yeah, I didn't have a plan of execution of how am I going to make money? How am I going to get clients? By when do I absolutely need to start making money? How much? So that takes me to my next point, is as part of your plan of execution, you should have metrics that you want to hit depending on by when do you need to make money, right? So let's put a number on the clients. So each client, I'm going to be charging them, let's say $500, and I want to be paying myself to cover my rent and stuff, let's say $3,000. I think I made a really bad decision getting into this, talking about numbers, because I'm not really good with numbers. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is based on the number that you need to make, let's say you need to make $3,000 a month. How many clients do I need to hit up, or do I need to close in order to get those $3,000? And based on that, it's okay, so that means I need to close every week. What's 3,000 divided by 500? So that's 6. That means I need to close 6 clients, 6 customers in the month. Divided by 4, that means I have to close about 2 clients per week. It's all a numbers game, right? What does it take? And this is where the time comes in, right? You're going to be testing, okay, how how many emails does it take to get somebody to respond, and how many of those people to respond does it take to get one client close. And so it's depending on the number. So you start trying it out. Okay, so I hit 10 people in one day, or let's say I hit 20 people in 1 week and I was able to get 5 responses. Out of those 5 responses, I got 1. Okay, so that means I need to do double the amount to be able to get 2 clients. So I didn't have this level of organization, and I think it really hurt me because I had no direction. I had no way of knowing what I'm like. What was I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. At the time, I thought, okay, I'm going to become a photographer and I'll just go take pictures. And, I was idealizing it. I was romanticizing it, like going and taking pictures and then coming home and editing them. But then I didn't think of all the other technicality, like all the other things that I had to do as part of running a business, like having a contract and like how many clients, like what's the work that I need to put behind, like in the background, so I can get those clients and get those people to take photos of. And at the time, my friend was like, he gave me the idea, hey, why don't you go hit up like bridal stores or flower shops and stuff. So I did that. So from 8 to 5, I would get in my car. I would eat lunch in my car. But I would get in my car and I would go hit up these places. I would map out all of the stores that I would be hitting up the day before. And then I would go hit up those stores and leave my business card. I had these 1-pagers with all the prices and all the services that I was offering at the time. So I would leave those with them, and that. But it wasn't, I had no way of measuring, or like I wasn't measuring how many stores. I wasn't analyzing that. How many stores am I hitting up? And like out of those, I got 1 client, right? And like how many clients am I getting? How many callbacks? And I wasn't measuring all of that. So I got 1 client and we went and took photos, and we got back and I started editing them, and I sent out my first batch of edited photos, and I was so excited and so proud of them. And then it turns out the client doesn't like it. I was like, oh shit. She didn't like them, and I think she was threatening with like wanting her money back or not wanting to pay the rest of it. I don't remember. But it was scary, and it was like very discouraging. Like luckily I had my friend who was better at editing than me at the time, and he fixed it, and then we sent it, and the client was happy. But that just gave me a glimpse of, it was a small wedding that I photographed, and that made me realize that weddings are really hard, and I don't know that I'm interested in doing them. It's a lot of responsibility, and honestly, this is the thing about taking pictures for people, is everybody has a way that they like to take photos. Like there's a very specific look that we all like, and it's like, oh, okay, yes, I look good in this photo. Oh no, I don't like it. And I might think that they look gorgeous, but they might not. So it's very subjective. And for it to be a wedding, to me, it was a lot of pressure. So anyway, I had that realization. Okay, one of the other things that I learned is to have goals, and that goes with doing the metrics, having metrics to hit. So having goals that I want to hit. Okay, by this month, I want to be making this much, right? I absolutely have to be making $3,000 a month by October. Okay, so then every month or every quarter, every month have a goal to hit. Okay, by this month, I need to be making this much. And then next month, I have to at least be making, 15% more. So having those little milestones to hit, 1, to stay encouraged, and 2, to stay on track. So I'm not losing track of like money and like of the vision of the goal. And that's something I didn't have, and that's what happened, right? I lost track of what I was trying to do and why I was trying to do it. That's the other thing. I didn't have a why. Like, why am I trying to do this? And I lost track of everything, and I ended up quitting. After a few years after that, I ended up going back home. I ended up going to McAllen, Texas, and I became a photographer there. So I started taking photos of friends and family, and then friends of friends, and like I started getting more and more clients. I started working with some restaurants, in collaboration with some restaurants, and taking the photos of their food. So it was going well, and I think my confidence got better, and I think I started doing better. Eventually I had to go back to corporate, but that's a story for another video. But anyway, goals. Remember to have goals. Another thing that I learned is time management. Being in the corporate world, it's easier to have a structure, I think, or maybe for me, since I know the role very well, I know how to structure my day, and when I'm supposed to be doing certain things, and it's easier, right? There are those metrics that your manager is keeping track of, and you have somebody behind you being hey, or reminding the team, these are the goals, this is what we need to do. When you have your own business, you don't have anybody keeping track. You're the one keeping track of it. So, and keeping track of your time. So I think that happened to me at the beginning before I came up with a routine of going out and looking for places to drop off my card. I was just, living the unemployed life and taking photos, going out on the street and taking street photography, doing street photography and stuff. So I think having good time management, that's something that I learned, that I think if I were to do it again, I would come up with a routine before I even do it. And then finally, the other thing that I learned was that as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you have no days off. At least at the beginning, there's no time off. When I quit my job to become a photographer, and then I quit photography to become a knitter, I went to start my doggy sweater business. That's when I realized I had no time off. I was working all the time, whether it was on restocking the shop, or knitting, taking pictures of the things that I was knitting, or finding ideas. I was always doing something, and in the end, that wasn't sustainable, and I wasn't able to make enough money for the store to be self-sustainable. So I ended up closing shop. Yeah, that's one of the things that I learned. If I were to do it again, I think I would definitely go in with that mentality of okay, yes, it's cool that you're the owner of your own time, but also there's a chance that you might not be able to take some time off, right, at the beginning, because you're building, or it depends how fast you want to build your business. I don't know. Some people might disagree with me. If you do, don't be afraid to let me know. I love to learn from other people that have started their job, and if you were able to get time off, tell me how. I would like to know. But yeah, those are the things that came up to mind when I thought about what are the things that I learned as from quitting my job and starting a new business. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed the episode of today. I hope this was helpful, insightful, or I don't know, anything. If you made it to now, leave a comment down below with an emoji, whatever emoji that comes to mind, and see you on the next episode. Bye.